Asterisk, the past is an illusion. It only exists if you let it. Every second spent dwelling on it is stolen from your potential. The fire of adversity is unavoidable. It will either consume you or forge you into something stronger. If you're still trapped in the shadows of your past, still feeding it with fear and regret, then you're already losing. But if you're ready to break free, to embrace the fire, and to rewrite your story, then this is for you. Welcome to the fight, asterisk. The chains you feel, those heavy, suffocating weights dragging you down, they only exist because you feed them with your thoughts, your fears, your refusal to let go. Your past is not a prison built of stone and iron. It is an illusion, a shadow cast by your own mind. It's a ghost story you tell yourself in the quiet moments, a haunting presence designed to keep you small, to keep you trapped in a cage of regret and pain. But this cage is a lie, a fabrication that only has power when you believe in it. The weak accept this illusion as their truth. They let their past mistakes, failures, and scars define who they are, wrapping themselves in the darkness of what once was. They bow to the weight of history, carrying it like a brand that mocks them as broken, defeated, less than. Their identity becomes a mirror shattered by regret, reflecting nothing but fear and limitation. But the strong, those forged in the fires of resilience, they see beyond the veil of this illusion. They understand that the past is just a shadow, an ever-fading echo that cannot hold power unless you give it life. It is not their identity. It is not their sentence. It is a flicker on the wall, powerless against the blazing light of willpower and determination. The strong refuse to live as prisoners of yesterday because they know the truth. Your story is not written in the ink of your past, but in the fire of your present choice. If you want to rise, you must reject this illusion with every fiber of your being. You must break the cycle of feeding those shadows with fear, regret, and self-pity. Change the narrative that the past tried to write for you. You are not what you have been, you are what you choose to become. When you reject the illusion, the chains fall away and the prison walls crumble. The past is nothing but a shadow, fading into nothingness as you step forward with unshakable resolve. It exists only as long as you give it breath. Take that breath away. Rise beyond the lies, beyond the darkness, beyond the ghosts that try to hold you down. Because true freedom, true power, lives in the refusal to be defined by anything but the fire that burns inside you now. This is your moment. Break free from the illusion. Rewrite your story, rise. The present, the raw, unforgiving moment you stand in right now is the only battlefield where your future is forged. It is the single chance you have to create, to grow, to shape the life you desire from the ashes of what's behind you. Yet too many remain shackled to the past, drowning in memories and regrets that serve only to steal from this sacred moment. Every second spent lost in yesterday is a second stolen from your potential, from the power you hold to change everything. The weak believe that their past defines them, that those worn-out stories of failure and pain are the truth they must live by. They allow the shadows of their history to consume them, trapping them in a cage of their own making. But the strong, the ones who break free, know that the past is just a shadow, a flicker that fades when the light of present shines bright. They understand that the future doesn't live in the echoes of what was, but in the fierce, burning now. To rise, you must abandon the illusion that your identity is tied to your past mistakes or pain. You must seize the present with ruthless focus, with a hunger that refuses to be sated by comfort or complacency. Because every moment spent clinging to the past is a moment stolen from the potential of who you could be. Time wasted on regret is time lost forever, irretrievable and unforgiving. The past is a shadow trying to distract you, but the present is your battlefield. It's where you fight for your greatness, where you build a legacy that no one can steal. To rise, to truly break free, you must live fully in the now, fiercely and without apology. Because your potential is waiting not in the past, but in the power of this very second. Grab it. Own it. Rise. Its power is not in what actually happened, but in where you choose to place your focus. The past can only hold you captive if you keep feeding it with your attention, your thoughts, your fear. Shift your focus away from the shadows behind you, and suddenly, the grip of the past weakens, fractures begin to form in the chains that once bound you. The weak surrender to their history, letting it define their identity, convince them they are broken, doomed, unworthy. They let the past whisper lies in their ears, turning memories into prisons. But the strong, the ones who rise above, know the truth. The past is just a shadow, powerless unless you shine your light on it. The moment you turn your gaze away from it, the shadow shrinks, loses its form, and eventually disappears. The past cannot hurt you unless you let it. It has no real power over your present or your future unless you grant it that power. If you want to rise, you must take control of your focus with ruthless clarity. Refuse to let your mind linger on old wounds, regrets, or failures. Train your thoughts on the present, on the actions that will shape your tomorrow. Because your focus is the key, it fuels the chains or shatters them. The past is powerless without your permission. Take back your mind, shift your focus, and rise beyond the shadows that once held you. Adversity is the unrelenting fire that scorches everything in its path, the cruel, inescapable force that no one escapes. It will either consume you, burn you down until nothing remains but ash and regret, or it will forge you into something stronger, sharper, unbreakable. Those who fear it, who shrink from its blaze, are doomed to be devoured by it, swallowed by weakness and defeat. They see adversity as the enemy, a force designed to break their spirit and chain them to failure. But the strong, the ones who rise from the darkest fires, know the truth that adversity is not a curse but a crucible. It is the path to greatness, the furnace that tempers the soul, burns away the lies, and forges warriors. To rise, you must stop running from the fire and instead step into it. Embrace the heat, the pain, the struggle, and let it reshape you. This fire is unavoidable. It will come for you whether you are ready or not. The choice is not whether to face the fire, but what you become when you do. Will you let it consume you? Or will you let it forge you into something indestructible? Embrace the fire. Let it burn away your weakness. Rise unbreakable from the flames, stronger than you ever thought possible. Because greatness is born not from ease, but from the relentless fire of adversity that refuses to be ignored. Pain is not your enemy, it is the fiercest teacher you will ever face. It burns, it wounds, it shakes you to your core, but it teaches you what no comfort ever could. Avoiding pain is the surest way to stagnation, a slow death of your potential, a surrender to mediocrity. The fire of struggle is where transformation is born, where the weak fade and the strong rise. Comfort is a seductive lie, a velvet cage wrapped in sweet illusions. It tells you to settle, to stop fighting, to accept less than what you are capable of. The weak chase comfort like a lifeline, desperate to avoid the burn, the ache, the risk. They shrink into safety and lose themselves in the process. But the strong, the ones who carve greatness from the chaos, know that comfort is the enemy of growth. To rise, you must reject comfort with relentless cruelty. You must embrace the fire, walk through the pain, and let it break you down only to rebuild you stronger. Because true growth demands discomfort, and greatness demands sacrifice. If you want to rise, you must be willing to leave the easy behind. You must hunger for the struggle that molds you, the pain that sharpens you, the discomfort that awakens your true power. Comfort will kill your dreams quietly, slowly, without mercy. Reject it. Embrace the fire. Walk through the pain. Rise beyond the chains of ease and become unstoppable. Your mind beautiful, complex, but also the most dangerous battlefield you'll ever face. It is a trap, a cage built from countless lies you tell yourself and endless patterns of thought that imprison your potential. Confirmation bias is the cruel architect of this trap. It lures you into repeating the same limiting beliefs, the same toxic stories, and convinces you that the chains of your past are your identity. The weak surrender to this trap, accepting their past as the only truth, as an unbreakable sentence carved deep into their soul. But the strong see the mind for what it really is, a battlefield where every thought is a choice, every belief a weapon or a chain. They understand that their past is nothing but a shadow, a ghost trying to haunt their present. To rise, you must challenge the lies your mind clings to, shatter the confirmation bias that keeps you stuck in old stories of defeat and limitation. Rewrite your future by rewriting your mind. The moment you recognize your mind as a trap, you gain the power to escape it. You become a master of your thoughts, the commander of your beliefs. You stop being a prisoner of history and become the architect of your destiny. If you want to rise, you must fight the war inside your mind with ruthless clarity. Break the chains of limiting beliefs. Challenge every lie. Because your mind is the greatest trap and the greatest weapon you will ever wield. Choose wisely. Rise anyway. Failures, they are the dark storms that crash against your soul, threatening to drown you in doubt and despair. But hear this, you are not defined by those storms, nor by the wreckage they leave behind. You are defined by what you do after the storm passes by, your unyielding will to rise, to stand tall again when every bone aches and every breath screams to give up. Your past, with all its failures and scars, is not your identity. It is a shadow, a dark, flickering outline that loses its shape the moment you refuse to feed it. The weak clutch their past like a lifeline, letting their failures become their sentence, their cage, their self-imposed prison. They wear their history like a brand, accepting defeat as their fate. But the strong, the ones who rise, know better. They see their past for what it is, nothing more than a shadow cast by the light of their resilience. To rise, you must reject that false identity forced upon you by your past mistakes. You must refuse to let those shadows shape the story of who you are. You are not your failures. You are the fire that burns through them. The strength to rise again, to rewrite your story, to walk forward unshaken, that is your true identity. Reject the lies. Break the chains. Rise beyond the shadow of your past and become unstoppable. Because your past is not your identity, it is the spark from which your true power ignites. Strength isn't about hiding from the storm or avoiding the crushing weight of adversity. True strength is forged in the fire of hardship, in the relentless pressure that threatens to break you. It is not merely surviving pain, but using it to become something more unstoppable, unbreakable, relentless. This is anti-fragility, the power not just to endure, but to grow stronger because of the chaos, to thrive on the very forces that seek to destroy you. The weak see adversity as the enemy, a force meant to shatter their spirit and end their dreams. They tremble, they falter, they fall. But the strong, the ones who rise above, understand that adversity is the crucible of greatness. It is the path, not the obstacle. They do not just endure hardship, they harness it, turning every blow into fuel, every setback into momentum. To rise, you must embrace this anti-fragility. You must welcome the storms, the pain, the challenges, knowing that each one is a step toward a greater version of yourself. Because anti-fragility is power. It is the raw, unyielding force that transforms weakness into strength, pain into purpose, chaos into order. If you want to rise, you must become more than unbreakable, you must become unstoppable. Embrace the fire. Harness the chaos. Rise with the power of anti-fragility burning in your veins. Your past, it's not a curse meant to drag you down into despair, not a weight designed to crush your spirit beneath its relentless force. No, your past is a weapon. A brutal, sharpened blade forged from every scar, every failure, every wound you once thought would break you. The weak cling to their past like a shackle, letting it define them, imprison them, convince them that they are broken beyond repair. They wear their history like a scarlet letter, accepting defeat as their fate, swallowed by the shadow of who they once were. But the strong, those destined to rise, see their past differently. They know the truth, that past is just a shadow, a ghost trying to haunt their present, but powerless when wielded with purpose. The strong take their past, every dark moment and every crushing failure, and transform it into fuel and unrelenting fire burning in their soul. They use it to sharpen their will, to harden their resolve, to carve a path forward through the chaos. If you want to rise, you must stop seeing your past as a curse and start seeing it as a weapon. Use it to let it fuel you. Let it forge you into something relentless, something unstoppable. Every wound can be a source of strength, every scar a reminder of battles fought and won. Your past is not your identity, it's the weapon you carry into the war for your future. Wield it with ruthless intention. Rise. The past, no matter how dark, painful, or heavy, it doesn't define who you are or who you will become. It is a shadow, an echo that fades the moment you take control of your own story. The future belongs to the few who refuse to be prisoners of their history, who seize the pen and write their destiny with unyielding hands. The weak surrender to the illusion that their past is their identity, letting old failures and regrets script their lives for them, trapping themselves in a narrative of defeat and limitation. But the strong, the ones who truly rise, know that the past is nothing but a shadow that disappears when confronted by the fierce light of choice and action. They understand that their story is not written by what happened to them, but by what they decide to do next. To rise, you must claim the pen, reject the false identity carved by your past, and write your own truth with relentless courage. Because the final word belongs to you. No one else holds that power. You are the author of your fate, the architect of your future. The past can try to whisper lies, but you get to decide what your story becomes. Write it bold. Write it dark. Write it unstoppable. Rise, because the final word is yours to write. The past is nothing but an illusion of fading ghost that tries to convince you that you are trapped, that you are bound by mistakes, pain, and failures that no longer serve you. But the truth is far darker and far more powerful. The fire of adversity is unavoidable. It will come for you, whether you are ready or not, burning everything down to test your will, your strength, your spirit. Comfort, that seductive lie wrapped in safety and ease, is the true enemy of growth. It lulls you into stagnation, chains you in weakness, and steals the fire from your soul. Your past is not your identity. It is merely a shadow that shrinks in the presence of your resolve. The future belongs only to those who refuse to be defined by what has been, who take control of their story with ruthless hands. The final word, the last sentence in the story of your life, is yours to write. It is a choice, a declaration, a fierce refusal to be broken. If you're ready to break free from the chains of illusion, to step into the fire of adversity and let it forge you anew, then this moment is yours. Rewrite your story with every breath, every action, every relentless push forward. The past does not define you. The future belongs to the warriors who rise above. So rise, rewrite. Become unstoppable. If this resonated with you, if you're ready to stop carrying the weight of your past and start rewriting your story, then hit that subscribe button. This is just the beginning. The journey to greatness is long, but it's worth it, and I'll be here every step of the way to guide you. So subscribe now, and let's rise together.